Welcome to Unleash Curiosity by Vital Pet Life.
I'm Dr. Amber De Silva, veterinarian and advocate for integrative pet care.
And I'm Donie Yamamoto, founder and CEO of Vital Pet Life. We're so glad you're here.
This is a space where curiosity, compassion, and science converge, where we explore the powerful mind-body connection that supports your pet's health and your own.
Each week, we'll dive deep into the world of pet wellness, breaking down myths, exploring ingredients, and learning from expert voices across the industry.
From nutrition and sustainability to transparency and advocacy, we're here to help you feel more confident, connected, and informed in your care choices.
So let's get into it, because when we know better, we do better. This is Unleash Curiosity. Welcome back to our podcast. Let's get started. This is Donie, the co-founder and CEO of Vital Pet Life.
And I'm Dr. Amber, your official veterinarian at Vital Pet Life.
Megan and Robert are founders of Farmer The Flea, an open-air market that began in 2019 in the small coastal town of Summerland near Santa Barbara. This small market grew into a popular gathering place during COVID, helping Megan and Robert discover their true purpose.
Megan realized that community is key to mental health, especially with the anxiety of COVID. For Robert, yoga and service were a lifeline back to healing. For both, the path always led back to one truth. Healing happens through connection and through dogs. What began as a market became a mission. Now they're building a cage-free dog sanctuary in Santa Barbara to bring that vision to life.
This is very exciting, and I can't wait to share their story. Let's welcome Robert and Megan.
Welcome to Unleash Curiosity, Robert and Megan. We're glad to have you.
We're so happy to be here.
Thank you very much. It's our pleasure.
It's our first podcast experience.
Ever.
So, yeah.
Well, we're honored to have you guys in our podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, Farmer The Flea began a grassroots community market in Summerland. Looking back, did you ever imagine it will grow into a mission-driven movement and eventually an animal sanctuary?
Interestingly enough, when I look back at, what drew me to building this market and to building community, I think, believe that anything was possible with community. So I definitely, as we were, moving through the experience of building the market and joining with rescues and shelters and having them bring adoptable dogs to our market, I could sense that this was just only the beginning of what we could potentially achieve when we bring people together and spread awareness and education towards really any topic or anything that we're passionate about. And it just so happens to be dogs. So yeah, I think deep down, I did know. I knew that there was endless potential when building community.
Yeah, I think subconsciously it was there.
But exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
So you both talk openly about healing. How has your personal journey influenced the way you approach dog rescue and building community spaces?
Well, I think it comes down to a pretty simple thing, and that's we all need help. We all need emotional support. We all need, as we've talked about, community. So, for me personally, when I was at one of the lowest points in my life, I really leaned on the healing arts, yoga and meditation, and reading everything from Pema Chodron to Buddha and all of those, great philosophers and thinkers about, how to live a life well lived and heal. But it wasn't really until I started actually going to yoga classes and becoming a part of a community and a network of people that my healing really started to place and really accelerate. So I think that is just what we want to create now, is a space that fosters those kinds of connections and builds that kind of community. And for us, it's, again, it's the healing arts of yoga and meditation and sound healing, coupled with what, has long been a part of Megan and my's healing journey. Both of us had fairly traumatic childhoods, and a lot of that healing came through animals. We didn't know it at the time necessarily, but for me personally, animals have always been, since I was a kid, the thing that I escape to find healing. So we want to build a place that not only creates that connection between dog and human, but creates the connections between all the humans that are there to build that community and create that kind of bidirectional healing that I think we all desperately need, especially in these times that we're living on planet Earth.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I've mentioned a lot of times in this podcast that I was going through grief when my dad passed away, and Tuxedo has been a catalyst in walking me through healing, finding myself. So
Yeah.
you talk about healing both sides of the leash. Like, what does that mean to you?
That it's an exchange that, in order to get, you need to give.
Yeah.
That very simple thing that we learn as children that we forget time and time again. And it's just coming back to that place of knowing that, once you're of service to anything that you believe in, it often will return and then some. So yeah, that's my witnessing healing from both sides. Yeah, just healing, it goes both ways. And I think that's when it's the most rewarding.
Yeah, animals really opens your heart in certain ways that you can't even, I don't know, imagine. Like,
Yeah, well, and they're very, very intuitive. Nemo, who's right now is sitting on Megan's lap, her first rescue. She got it before I was ever in the picture. We have a special bond, and literally the lowest points that I've had, whether it was anxiety or stress or depression or what have you, over the last 5 years that I've known him, like those days that are my lowest, he doesn't sleep with us in bed. He sleeps at a bench on the foot of our bed. But the days and the nights that I'm really struggling, he comes and he either curls up on my pillow.
Like he perches on his shoulder. It's like the cutest thing.
He knows that I need a little dose of Nemo, and that's what we want to share with people that either know it and don't have the access, or don't know it yet and have never experienced it, because it is truly special.
Yeah, and I think it goes both way with what Megan said, what you give and you get back. Like, you're trying to heal yourself. I mean, once you have the animal, with me and Tuxedo, my journey with him is like just really trying to heal him. But in the process, I'm also learning and healing myself. It's so amazing, like how they come to our lives and they're also trying to teach us something.
Oh yeah, most definitely. What they need to heal, we can also understand that that's what we usually need. Just like, the patience, the structure, the understanding, most things that animals require, we as humans require as well. Basic needs of life. So yeah.
Can you guys tell us more about your vision for the sanctuary and what makes it different from a traditional rescue?
Since starting the market and really seeing the market's potential in terms of what draws people in, there's going to be music. There needs to be some sort of like movement, whether that be yoga or dance or something that kind of lets you just get out of your own self and let loose. And then a space for healing, a space for a community that everyone can access. So I think that's what our vision for the sanctuary is just a combination of those parts that we've learned through the market, like work well for healing and community.
Yeah. And then in terms of the animals themselves, there's not a lot of cage-free shelters that exist, period.
Yeah.
In the United States, you can count them on, a couple of hands.
I mean, there's so many different types. There's A to Z with rescue, right? There's people that are doing it out of their home, and they're, which a lot of them are doing because most can't afford a location. So they're all based off fostering and creating an amazing foster network. But there are rescues and sanctuaries that are all trying to do good by the animal and kind of break the idea of sheltering needing to look the way that it currently does.
There's good reasons for it, sanitation and whatever, that animals need to be in.
Quarantine or, there's medical, there's behavioral.
But our vision is to have animals, by day, have the ability
roam around,
to be in open pastures and roam around and have grass underneath their feet. And as you probably well know, I mean, dogs live by their noses, and they need to be out smelling plants and flowers and grass and the breeze. Every creature, human, animal, otherwise, wants to be free. Nobody wants to live in a concrete cage with bars on the other end of it. So that is a big part of us, of what we want to create. And then by night, there are very few of these that exist in the United States and the world. is, inside when they're sleeping, is have them in open situations where, yes, they're protected and surrounded by, maybe a small gate or what have you, but where they're sleeping are set up like living rooms. There's couches and chairs and lamps and rugs, and they're together. Dogs are pack animals. They don't want to be in solitary confinement.
Not all of them.
Sometimes it's necessary,
yeah.
And sometimes it's preferred.
Background.
But by and large, they want to be with
together.
A pack and together, and that is what we want to create. So, our sanctuary and shelter will be cage free, and then we want to have a lot of programs, both outreach, and then more importantly, as Megan said, at our sanctuary, we want to host, whether it's children's groups or elderly people that need emotional support, whether that be for the day, a week, or finding a lifelong companion. That is something that we want to create. And then, in that, most shelters, most even sanctuaries to a degree, you don't want to go hang out at them. It's not a place that you want to go spend an afternoon. We want to change that. We want to create a place where people want to come and have a picnic and go to a yoga class and hang out with animals, whether they take one home or whether they don't. So I think that's how we want this to be different.
I can imagine that already, and I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, you've helped over 40 dogs find homes through Farmer The Flea. Is there like one story that really captures the heart of what you're trying to build?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many.
There's a couple.
I'm sure.
This is a hard one.
Just the one thing that you can,
of course. So we lived in Summerland, where the market started. I lived in Summerland for 10 years. And when I moved in, I quickly was trying to, get to know my community, kind of realized there wasn't much of it. Like there wasn't a place to meet your neighbors or go anywhere where everyone was going to hang out and create friendships and things like that. Or even just have somebody that you can call when you're like, I'm out of sugar. Like, can you stop me some, So I got to know my neighbors very well. And one of which was this elderly gentleman that I could just sense, because I'm a big empath, as a lot of us are that are animal lovers. And I am also a massage therapist and have been for years and years. So I'm very sensitive to energy. And this man carried just an extreme dark cloud. He didn't talk much to me. I was always on walks around town and would spot him, and he wouldn't connect, eyes with me. He always looked down, and I could just tell he was a very lonely man. I never saw him with anyone, he just exuded this loneliness that I could feel. Fast forward, I'm always the woman that is looking out for rescues, day-to-day life. Like I'm scanning for dogs that need help. I'm scanning for dogs that are left out in the sun, or just any dog that might be in distress. I'm kind of that lady that's always kind of looking for that. And so I found this woman. We were driving in Santa Barbara one day, and this woman appeared to be homeless and had a bunch of very, very young dogs, puppies, in a shopping cart. And she was by the side of the road. She was under the influence of drugs. And immediately I told Rob, turn around. And he didn't ask questions. He just turned around. And I jumped out of the car while it was still moving and went over to this woman and tried to, conversate with her, and had convinced her to allow me to take these dogs because they were malnutritioned, covered in fleas, very, very young, should have not been away from their mother. And all she wanted was just a couple bucks. So I had convinced her to allow me to have, to take these dogs off of her. And I actually think that we went and bought her food instead of giving her money. Can we please, put this money towards something? And she agreed. So did that, took these puppies in. There were two very, very young Chihuahuas, and brought them home. And I believe I was outside one day, just letting them get some sun. And this gentleman walked by, and for the first time, he lifted his head and looked me in the eyes and was like, "Oh, what are those?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is, these are puppies. We just rescued them." Kind of told him the brief story. And he was just taken back. I mean, this light appeared in his eyes and over him. And he was like, "Well, I've always wanted a dog, and would this be something that you would be open to? Because I said, of course, I'm always saying this. I'm like, we're looking for homes, we're looking for good homes. And he was like, really? Like, as if,
Oh my gosh.
I had chosen him.
Yeah, he won the lottery.
Yeah, it was really, really special. So of
So you
course,
got the two guys?
I gave him one of the dogs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. After I did a house check, I went, walked down, I looked at his apartment. I actually helped him clean it a little bit. I kind of stepped in. I'm like, okay, well, this is, you need to keep this place tidy if you're going to have a dog in here. And it was a teeny tiny, I knew the Chihuahua wasn't going to be turned into a massive dog. So it was like a perfect fit. He walks everywhere in Summerland. It was just this great thing. So fast forward, it's been years now, and they are just inseparable. He brings this dog on his bike, on his, he takes like multiple beach walks a day. This dog is living the best life. And this gentleman has thanked us time and time and time again for bringing him back to himself and to purpose and to getting out of his own way and caring for something else that really brought him out of his depression. And now he has this huge community of dog owners that are now his friends. And
the two dogs that Megan rescued, one of them went to another family and they did not know each other, and we connected them just because they had the litter mates,
brother and sister,
and they've become fast friends, and he's gotten totally integrated into this community of this other family that is, just very connected and has a vibrant social life. It's absolutely just expanded and blown open his world to not only this connection with the dog, but to humans
people.
And to loving friends and connection.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's amazing. So you guys have an event called Rescue Rhythms. Can you describe that to us?
So the Rescue Rhythm at a high level, we want it to look like our sanctuary is going to be, so that are important to us: music, dogs, community, and the healing arts. So we're going to have a full day from 1 to 8, 1 to 9 of a bunch of amazing bands. Trevor Hall, who is a big yogi and big in the yoga community, is going to be headlining our event. Great music, great food, and then we're going to have a wellness lounge that is going to be sponsored by and led by Palma Collectiva here in Santa Barbara, where we're going to have sound healing and yoga and meditation and all the things. And then children. Megan and I have a very soft spot for children. We have a 2-year-old, Luca, who will be there for the most part. Yeah. And so we're going to have a kids zone, kind of a Montessori-esque inspired space with arts and crafts and build a dog and bubbles and kids yoga and lawn games and all the rest. So that's going to be the day, and food and obviously adult beverages for all of us adults to enjoy. And just a good community. Kids are free, 12 and under. We really want this to be a thing where people bring their families and bring their lawn chairs and their blankets and come spread out on the lawn and enjoy a cocktail or not, enjoy the food, play, hang out,
Yeah, that sounds really amazing. So where can our listeners go to get tickets?
2 different places. They can either go to our website, which is kind of tricky, but not, farmerandtheflea.co, C-O, no M, farmerandtheflea.co, or they can go directly to our ticket link, which is farmerandtheflea.ticketsauce, just as you would spell it, .com. So either of those places, people can.
And you can also, everyone's on social media these days. Yes. So our social media account on Instagram is just Farmer and the Flea. And on there, you can find a direct link to pretty much anything. You can go to our website. There's a tab that's specific to this event that says Rescue Rhythms. Once you click on that tab, it tells you everything you need to know about the event. And then you can click get tickets and that'll take you there. There's a couple different avenues to get there. Yeah.
Yeah. What does healing mean to you guys today, both personally and as a part of this movement?
Yeah, that was a whew. My first response, which is usually what I go with in life, is healing to me means taking responsibility for your own life.
Yeah.
And being open to other places that people are in, or other levels of healing, different stages of healing that others are in, just allowing each of us to be in different parts, different stages,
Yeah.
but still having that acceptance as well as the ownership of your own life. I think healing comes from owning where you've been.
If you awareness, being aware where you're at,
Exactly.
and being kind to yourself. I think,
Yes.
we're just dealing with life as we go.
That can be more just real right now. Every day, just take it day by day, take it out, just piece it up into different chunks because we're all doing the best we can.
And I think for both of us in our own separate ways, because obviously we've had our own individual journeys, but for me, it just comes down to giving. Going back to, the lowest points of my life when I was getting involved in yoga and meditation, it all helped. And it definitely path, but it wasn't till I had a friend who said, hey, why don't you go to a shelter? And I've always had animals and my own animals, but I had never kind of gone into that space of why don't you go to a shelter and just walk a dog.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until then when I actually started getting out of myself instead of just sitting in my living room, meditating, reading, and whatever. It wasn't until I got out of myself and went to a shelter and started giving that I actually started healing.
That's amazing.
That, has definitely for me has driven, where, I look at healing. It's, it's giving, and that's what we want to create a space where everyone can come and give whatever they can at the time that they can.
And I think Rob's answer basically goes to Dr. Amber's next question.
You guys have accomplished so much so far. So what is your hope for the future of animal rescue? And how can people get involved with you, even if they're not in a position to adopt a dog?
So there's so many different ways to get involved, and it's simply having conversations about rescue, having conversations, the hard conversations. I have a lot of people in my network that have unfortunately gone the breeder route or unaware of what's really going on in this dog, crisis that we're all facing right now. Yeah. So if people can just learn more, educate themselves, have hard conversations, open up their homes for a night for a foster, share a story, anything, combined effort that makes the big change. So there really isn't anything, or I always have a bag of dog treats in my car, always. So put a bag of dog treats in your car. And whenever you see a dog that might need one, do that. And that can be all that you do. So
Well, there's so many ways. Volunteer. Every shelter, whether it's us or others, sanctuary needs volunteers. Money is just a fabric of this society. We need people to donate. And again, it doesn't always have to be money. It could be their time. It could be their internet. It could be their energy. It could
their
be
blankets.
A blanket.
Yeah.
So, and then ultimately, my ultimate hope, and I think we share this, is that this just animals are treated with respect and dignity from everything, from the laws that currently deem a dog as property, which unfortunately far too often create
I heard about the
selling and the abuse of them. There's so many things that have to be changed, but at the end of the day, we have become disconnected from the natural world. And people need to get back to understanding that living creatures, whether it's a dog or a tree, deserve respect and dignity and care. And they're not there for our just casual disposal and use and entertainment. That's my ultimate hope. That animals are treated with respect and dignity that they deserve.
Yeah. Thank you for that, guys. Well, my takeaway, Dr. Amber, for this conversation, like Rob and Megan are within my route. That's how I view and think about animals and also plants and trees, like
Yeah.
environment. We're all one. I feel we're all integral part of each. The energy's there. We're all just one. Whatever my animal is going through, I feel that's a part of me too that he is manifesting that I didn't even know. So he's just showing it to me. So
So true.
we're all fragments of each of every one of us. And I love that you guys are trying to really build a different view on shelter slash sanctuary, like sanctuary for probably people that have time or can adopt but wanted to be around animals. I love the whole Montessori thing too. While you guys are talking, I can see, oh, it's going to look like a ranch style, horses, stables, but just for dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah,
It's the
thanks,
vision.
guys.
Hopefully we can make it happen. And we appreciate you guys helping us spread the word. Because I think
Yeah,
at the end of the
yeah.
day, that's what it's all about, is just
I mean,
informing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this is what we do. Again, we're not just other than creating supplements for the animals, but for me, it's really being able to help educate the humans because we're the one that caretakes these guys. And if we do take care of them properly, less problems.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of things. It's not going to be easy, but the more you educate yourself, the more you're empowered. Yeah.
And I just quickly, Rob's response, like, our big hopes and dreams. One day we'll all respect animals. And I'm like, okay. And I'm more of a realist. I'm like, okay, that's cute and all, but let's get real
What
with
does that
what's
mean?
happening right now.
One at a time.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
it's about, for me, and learning as I've learned, all the rights and mostly wrongs in what we've been doing in rescue and connecting with other rescues and networking. It's all about supporting each other.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
are so many rescues that they don't support each other. And like, that is my dream for rescue right now in the next 5 to 10 years, is that people
Mhm.
start helping one another instead of
Yeah.
competing and fighting against
Yeah.
one another. We need to change the policy, to change these laws. We all have to come together so that we can do that for the dogs. And there's too much ego, I think, that's in play
Yeah.
that stops us from doing that. So I wish that we'd get over ourselves and really care, put the animals first, truly.
Mhm.
That is my wish for rescue.
Yeah, I'm gonna manifest that. It's
Yeah.
gonna happen. Yeah.
Yes.
I have so much hope in humanity too.
Together we have to do this.
To keep believing.
Well, thanks again to Rob and Megan for joining us today.
Thank you all so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone who tuned in today. Don't forget to click the follow button so you'll be notified about our new weekly episodes.
This is Dr. Amber. Thanks again for listening. We'd love to hear your feedback. Let us know if you have any questions about this episode, and we'll answer them in an upcoming episode. Email us at podcast@vitalpetlife.com.